Breadwinner, you can be a breadwinner, girl, go and get that, you can achieve that. Be a breadwinner, you can be a breadwinner, girl, go and get that, you can achieve that.
All right, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Excited to get started on tonight's session. I'm Jamila Payne, and welcome to another edition of Breadwinning Wednesday, where we help service-based entrepreneurs put simple systems in place to sell and deliver high-end service so that you can grow your revenue, serve more clients, and work less. And today we are talking about one simple secret to close more clients over the phone. And if you have been feeling like you're having conversations with clients, they're not going as expected, the calls don't always work out in your favor, then I'm going to give you the secret, which is going to help you to open up your sales conversations and be able to get more clients closed. Now, it's important as a business owner that you have a way to consistently close clients. And the telephone is a skill that will change your business if you decide to learn how to develop it. You may hear other people online talking about that you can have sales with no sales calls, or like closing in the DMs, for example. But I want you to know that those methods, what they're not telling you essentially, is those methods create a longer sales cycle because essentially you don't have a captive audience. You are DMing a person, you're waiting for them to DM you back. They could be totally distracted while they're DMing you, like with the kids, cooking dinner, like doing all the things. You do not have their undivided attention like you do when you are having a telephone conversation. So once you learn the process to be able to close clients on the phone, you can have any type of sales conversation, whether it be in the DMs, whether it be in person, whether it be through a webinar, like it absolutely doesn't matter. You'll be able to utilize those same skills that you develop in closing clients on the phone to be able to use that same process and being able to have sales conversations. Now, I know that it might be a little scary. Give me a 1 in the chat for you if you have felt like a little bit nervous in the past, or maybe even now you still feel a little bit nervous when you're getting on the phone with a client and you're not exactly sure how it's going to go. You're feeling a little shaky, like, am I prepared to say the right things? Do I know exactly what to say? Am I going to be able to overcome client objections? Give me a 1 in the chat if that's you, if you can resonate with this feeling and you've ever felt that at any point in your business journey. I know that the big thing is that you don't want to feel like pushy or salesy or that you're begging someone, for a sale. And that is exactly what you're not doing, right? Like what we're doing in a sales conversation is we're just trying to get to a point of understanding whether or not what you do, whether or not the transformation that you provide in your services is one that can actually help the potential buyers. It's you're offering something that essentially fits their needs and can resolve a problem for them. That's all that we're trying to identify. And then you're answering, any questions that will allow them to get to a decision. It's our job to help them to get to a decision. Sometimes that decision is no, and that's okay. Sometimes the decision is yes. But what you don't want to do is have a person leaving the conversation in a gray area. Now, I often see too a lot of women that I have had conversations with feeling that they're a little introverted and not really a phone person. Give me a 2 in the chat if that's you. If you feel like, I'm kind of introverted, not really a phone person. I don't like to talk on the phone that much. Like you can catch me on text all day, or maybe you're good in person with people, but you're just not that like great when it comes to being on the phone. That's like really not your jam. I feel that way. It's so funny. I feel like I spend so much time talking to people either like, through video or during my business day, like talking to potential clients or talking to prospects or talking to people in our community, that I'm not a phone person when it comes to other people. Like when it comes to family and friends, I'm like, you could get me for a half an hour and I'm good. Like after that, I'm ready to get off the phone because I spend so much of my my business time on the phone, that I'm actually like the reverse, not a phone person, like the other way around, that I just don't particularly love. Like I love being with people in person and interacting that way, but I'm absolutely not the person that is going to um like always be on the phone with friends and family. So it's bad sometimes, right? Because you just don't keep in touch with people as often as you would like, but it's something that I have come to learn about myself. Now, your ability to achieve great results in your business is directly related to your willingness to work past your fears when it comes to having phone conversation. And this is true for anything in business, right? Like your ability, I want you to identify things that feel uncomfortable in your business and know that in a lot of cases, those are signals and signs for the things that you need to go towards, the things that are going to create breakthroughs for you. Like, I don't want you to be shy about being visible. I don't want you to be, or not that you can't feel shy, right? I'm not saying don't feel shy, but it's that you got to feel that fear and do it anyway. And it's the same thing when it comes to having phone conversations. You got to feel that fear and do it anyway. The great thing is that it is a skill, again, that you can develop so that you can get really strong at it and feel a lot more confident. So I don't want you to be afraid and thinking like, oh my gosh, I have to overcome all of these objections, like you're showing up on a call on the defense. Objections are really just places where potential clients are lacking clarity. Like there's something that you're saying or not saying, or something that they're thinking that they need clarity around. And without having that clarity, it feels difficult for them to be able to get to that yes or no decision. Now, remember, our goal is to help people to get to a yes or no. And so you want to make sure that you can identify, when people, when you're having a conversation with people, and this is why I highly recommend when you're having phone conversations to do it on something like a Zoom where you can see each other face to face, because you can read body language and you can see in the body language when a person's feeling a little wobbly, and you can say, oh, you can lean in and say, tell me more about that. What's happening for you right now? Like what's showing up for you right now? So it's really great opportunity for you to be able to address any of the things that come up. Okay, so let's talk about the secret here. So what you want to do, and the secret really is being able to close more clients over the phone, is having the ability to diagnose the client's problem. Write that down. Someone drop it in the chat for me. Diagnose the client's problem. So let me explain what I mean by that. Diagnosing the client's problem is just like, how when you go to a doctor and they ask you, well, what brought you in today, right? And then you'll start explaining some of your symptoms. Well, I have a little bit of a runny nose. My nose has been, very itchy. I've been feeling scratchy in my throat. And then they're going to start to come up with a diagnosis. Like they may say, oh, well, what's happening is it sounds like you may have a seasonal allergy. So we're going to run some tests to confirm if you have a seasonal allergy. So think about the same way that you would go to the doctor and the doctor would diagnose what you have after you are describing your symptoms. It's the same way in your sales conversation. If you are going through great questions, you want to make sure that you have great questions that you're asking your potential clients. And there's 4 phases really of a sales conversation that you want to have. And so it walks people through being able to explain their problems, being able to set the vision for what they want, right? Like you got to take them through all these different phases. But at the end of the day, what you want to think about is, how, when I'm taking them through the sales conversation, am I asking questions that allow me to discover their symptoms, right? That allow them to share with you what the symptoms are of whatever they're experiencing, right? So I know, for example, Sierra works with speakers. And so Sierra may hear a person saying, well, my voice is quivering, or I start shaking right before I go up to speak. Like, those are symptoms that they are facing. So let me give you an example of what this might look like in a business. Let's just say if you were let me think what type of, if you were a marketing person in business, and you basically help people with their marketing campaigns or their email marketing campaigns, to be specific, and your client said to you, right, their symptoms, well, I'm not getting any results from sending emails, right? So they're saying to you, I'm not getting any results from sending emails. Well, some of the questions you might ask as that service provider who's a marketing consultant, right, that helps people with email, you may say, oh, well, how often do you send emails? Do you use a call to action in your emails? You might say, have you checked your insights to understand how many people are receiving your emails or how many people are reading your emails? And then you have some information and they've responded to those questions. So while you're doing the call, you're going to write down the responses to their questions so that you can use that in your diagnosis. So when they give you the answers to the questions, you may say, okay, well, it sounds like what's happening is you're not sending emails consistently enough. The frequency of your emails is not enough for you to be able to see any traction. Plus, based on what you're telling me about what you put in your emails, there's no call to action inside of your emails. And therefore, you're not getting people to take action because you don't have a call to action inside of your emails. Hopefully this makes sense. Give me a T for true if this is landing for you, if you can see, based on the example that I'm giving, how a diagnosis would work, right? So they say what the problem is, you ask clarifying questions, and then you give them a diagnosis. Okay, what's happening is this. That's what you want to be able to tell them. What's happening based on what you're telling me is you're not sending emails frequently enough. There's no call to actions in your email. What your client wants to hear is that you understand their problem, that you understand what they're facing and what they're dealing with. If they know that you can explain the problem better than even they can articulate it, they're like, yes, amen. I need her to help me because she gets it. She totally understands where I'm going. Okay, so let me know if that is making sense for you. I'm just checking the chat out here. Okay, thanks, Lisa. Awesome. And I'm checking inside the Breadwinning Women community too. If you're watching live there, then say hello, throw some likes and hearts up on this video, and let me know you are watching inside of the Breadwinning Women community as well. Okay, so let me just recap this because I really want to make sure you get this. In your sales conversation, this is a secret right here. This is the juice, okay? In your sales conversation, you want to make sure that you can diagnose the client problem. The way that you diagnose the client problem is by listening to what they're saying the issues are. The issues that they're going to give you are just symptoms. They're just symptoms of what's happening. It's not the problem itself. It's the symptom of the problem. So they're going to say, I'm not getting enough buyers. I'm not getting enough people to buy from me from all these. I'm sending out emails, but I'm not getting enough people to buy from me over email, right? And so the doctor, AKA the service provider, you, is going to ask questions to get to a diagnosis. Well, how often do you send emails? Well, what's the CTA in your emails? Do you even have a CTA? How many people are receiving your emails? Do you have call to actions in your emails? How many people are reading your emails, right? You're going to ask the clarifying questions. Once you have asked the clarifying questions, you're going to take notes. And because you're great at what you do, because you're the amazing service provider, because you know you can get great results for your clients, it's gonna come together for you like it's not for anybody else. Like, oh, I've seen this before. I totally understand what they're facing, and what they're dealing with is this. And you're just gonna tell them what the mistake that I see service providers making in sales conversations is that you're trying to coach your clients, like give them free coaching instead of diagnosing the problem. You don't want to free coach your clients. This is not an opportunity for them to sample your work. This is really just an opportunity for them to know that you understand the problem that they're facing and that you can absolutely help them with that problem. When your client is clear that you understand what's going on and that you can help them, they're going to be ready to work with you because they know you get it and you understand exactly what they're dealing with, right? So that's the secret, right, for how you're able to close more clients over the phone. So I want to take any questions that you may have around this, especially if you have had sales conversations recently and you bumped up against some objections or some challenges. Then I want you to drop those questions in the comments now, or we can have you unmute and be able to answer, and I can answer those questions live for you. While you type in your questions, I want to make you aware that if you want to get support around this and being able to close clients over the phone, that's exactly what we do inside of our Breadwinners Mastermind. In our training portal, we have a masterclass, which is called the Sales Call Study Hall, which actually walks you through step by step on how to close clients over the phone using live role plays. So basically I did live role plays with our Breadwinners Mastermind members so that they could learn how to go through a sales conversation very smoothly. Not only that, inside of Breadwinners Mastermind, we provide you with a six-figure, what we lovingly call the six-figure sales script. It is our proprietary sales script that walks you through the 4 steps that I talked about in the sales process, so you know what to say, exactly what questions to ask your buyers to be able to close clients on the phone. So our clients are currently using this script to close business and bring in monthly recurring revenue into their business. So inside of Breadwinners Mastermind, we help you essentially learn, all the simple systems, especially your sales system, that will allow you to close premium clients. So in our community, what you're going to do is be able to design a signature service that will allow you to price profitably so you can pay yourself a regular salary in your business and take control of your financial future. You're going to learn to build a sales system to be able to enroll clients consistently that can convert online. So we're specifically helping you to find buyers that you can convert online and go beyond selling to your friends, your family, and your personal network. You're also going to learn the connect to close method for how to diagnose client problems. What I'm giving you today is really just a tip of the iceberg in how to diagnose client problems, but we can go deeper in the mastermind in your specific business and some of the challenges that are coming up in sales calls for you so that you know how to handle objections. We actually have an overcoming objections library that we give you inside of the community, so you'll know how to confidently make offers and compel clients to work with you. And I want you guys to be putting your questions in the chat while I just finish sharing this with you in 60 seconds. You're going to also learn to develop an original framework, and that's basically going to be your own proprietary intellectual property that will position you in the marketplace as a go-to service provider in your industry. You're also going to learn how to systemize your client delivery process so that you can create a wow client experience as a 5-star service provider, and so that your business can run without you. Your customers are happy to send you referrals on repeat. And then finally, you're going to also learn to adopt breadwinning behavior so that you can crush your limiting beliefs, be hella productive in your business, and focus on the income generating activity that will allow your business to leap forward. So if all of that sounds super juicy for you, then I would invite you to actually book a sales call with me and my team so that you can learn more about Breadwinners Mastermind. We'll specifically, I like to call these your profit plan calls. So you can't actually buy anything on this call. We're actually going to just look at a profit plan for your business, map out a profit plan for your business, talk about what objectives you would like to accomplish in the next 3 to 6 months in your business, and whether or not we can help you to get there. And, sometimes I tell people, like, listen, we can't help you, like, based on where you are or the direction that you want to go in your business. This is not what we do inside of Breadwinners Mastermind. And so in some conversations, and I want to encourage you to do this also, to really be in integrity with your business, is to tell people, like, hey, I cannot help you. This is not what I do. This is not how I help people. And it's okay. Like, not all money is good money. You don't want to just take somebody's money to take their money if you can't actually serve them. So that's really, 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 really important. Okay, so let's answer some questions. I want to hear from you, Angela, Lisa, Sierra. Tell me, what are some of the things that you might be facing? And let me see who else is live inside of the Breadwinning Women Facebook community, if you're watching me live over there as well. I know there's always like a delay on Facebook, and I want to just make sure that I'm not missing anybody over there as well. Okay, I'm just playing myself here, which I'm playing my, I'm hearing my own voice here. Okay. All right, questions, let me know while you're typing in your questions. And if there's no questions, then we'll wrap up a few minutes early, but we still have some time. So I'd love to answer any questions you have. I also want to get you to save the date. Okay, so save the date. The dates are September 19th to the 27th. I am hosting a brand new workshop that I've never hosted before. It is called the Sold Out Service Provider Workshop. It's going to be about 8 days, 8 days of amazing content that's really going to show you what you can do in terms of setting up a sales system for your business to be able to sell out your services. So that's happening September 19th to the 27th. So I'll just drop the dates, September 19th to the 27th. If you would like to get on the early bird list right now, we already have an early bird RSVP registration list, whatever you want to call it. So you can get on that early bird registration list, and we will drop that in the chat as well so that you can have access to that too. All right, so I don't see any questions for today. If that's the case, then we're going to go ahead and wrap up. I'm excited to see you next week for another Breadwinning Wednesday. We'll be back here on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 Pacific, and 5 Central Time. So remember, the most important thing is not that you show up and get the information, but that you take action on what you learn. Okay, that's how you become the breadwinner that you deserve to be. So I want to encourage you to take action this week. If you got a sales call set up in the next couple of days, I want you to practice right beforehand, like how you're, set yourself up for success, so that on the call, you can actually ask great questions to be able to diagnose the client's problems. And you're going to see your conversion rates go through the roof once you learn this skill, right? So stop trying to coach people, give them advice on the phone, make suggestions for their business. You don't have to do that. I know sometimes, like, the coach in us, even me still, sometimes I'm like, oh, I can really help you so bad. Like you just want to go there. But the main thing is making sure that you can diagnose the client problem so that they know, like, oh, she gets it. She can help me. That is the key to your yes, Angela says, I always give it away, even though I know I shouldn't. Yes, you gotta stop doing that, right? You gotta, don't be so easy, right? Don't be so easy with your information, right? You got to let the client date you a little bit, right? Don't give it all away. All right. I love this, ladies. Thanks so much for being here with me, and I look forward to seeing you next week.